Are you tired of bruising pretty much every time you do an insulin injection? Then stick around for easy solutions to avoid injection site bruising, as well as 6 ways to heal quickly if the bruise is already there. If you live with insulin-dependent diabetes, like I do, and if you manage your blood sugars using insulin injections, like I do, you're probably taking a lot of insulin injections daily, year in and year out. And if you do, you might occasionally notice some stinging or maybe even bruising at the injection site. So I don't think bruising can be completely eliminated. However, in this video, I'm going to give you some strategies that I use to help avoid bruising at the injection site. I'm Christelle from Diabetes Strong, and I've been living with type 1 diabetes since 1997, and I've been managing my blood sugars using insulin injections ever since my diagnosis. That's a lot of injections. When we inject insulin using an insulin pen or syringe, a bruise can appear if we damage a small blood vessel underneath the skin and it leaks into the surrounding tissue. While annoying and not super aesthetically pleasing, bruising at the injection site from time to time is fairly normal. This type of bruising is generally not dangerous and will usually go away by itself in a few days. I must admit that when I do bruise, it tends to stick around for longer than a few days, but it's my body. But although us living with insulin-dependent diabetes are more likely to get bruises simply because we take a lot of insulin injections, they're a way to reduce how often and how bad we bruise. So let's talk about some strategies to reduce bruising. I prefer to use the shorter pen needles like the 4mm needles, but if you tend to bruise a lot, you can consider trying to use a longer needle. I know the 12mm needles look a little scary, they look long, but you could consider trying out a 6 or 8mm needle. I know that might sound counterintuitive, but longer needles just work better for some people. One of the easiest and maybe most effective ways that I go about reducing the risk of injection site bruising is to change out my needles frequently. And the same goes for my lancet. That's the one I use to put my finger to measure my blood sugar. You've probably been told this before, but let's just repeat it. Most needles, syringes, and lancets are single use, and you should be changing them out before every injection or finger poke. Only using a syringe or a needle or a lancet one time will ensure you that the tip is sharp and thereby reduce the risk of bruising. And you don't want to use a tip that looks like that, or one that's so dull that you have to use force to get the needle through the skin. And the next tip is to rotate your insulin injection sites. So using the same injection site or even general area can increase the risk of bruising, and it can also increase the tempo at which scar tissue is developed. And if you have scar tissue, it also heightens the risk of malabsorption of your insulin, which can lead to higher blood sugars. Continuously rotating your insulin injection sites can help limit the risk of the buildup of a lot of scar tissue as well as bruising. I often get questions about how I do insulin injection site rotation, and I have a video on that. I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video. Another thing to try is to ice the area where you'll be giving an injection for about 30 to 60 seconds before doing so. Ice helps shrink the capillary blood vessels under your skin, reducing the likelihood of damage and bruising. And the next tip is something that I'm kind of hoping that you're already doing, and that is to not inject into your belly button. If you're anything like me, you might have like a favorite area. Mine is the stomach. It's a great area. It's a larger area. It's a little softer area, meaning there's a little bit more body fat there, which is excellent for insulin absorption. However, although the stomach is a great area, injecting insulin into the area around or in your belly button can cause a lot of pain, discomfort, as well as bruising. So aim to not inject within 1 inch to 2 inches of your belly button. And my final tip, if you do bruise a lot when you do your insulin injections, have a discussion with your medical team. You might need to adjust your meds, or you might need to start some supplements. If you suffer from anemia or low iron, you will bruise more easily. I know, I've been there. You can increase your iron levels by eating iron-rich food or taking an iron supplement. Being on certain blood thinners, such as, let's see if I can get these names right, warfarin or Plavix, or even using over-the-counter aspirin can heighten your risk of bruising. So if you're taking any of these, and if you're struggling with bruising, I suggest you have a conversation with your medical team and see if there might be any alternatives you can try out. And those were my 6 tips. But as I said up front, I don't think you can completely eliminate the risk of bruising. So if you're already bruised, Let's talk about some things that you can do to help that bruise heal quickly. If you're feeling pain right after doing an insulin injection, you can try and apply light pressure to the injection sites, and that can help a bruise from developing. However, you do not want to massage or rub the area, as that can make the bruising worse. You can also try and treat the area with ice. Get out an ice cube and apply that to the injection area. And remember, you do not want to do a new insulin injection right in the area of the bruise or in the bruise. You want it to heal completely before using that area again. If the pain is significant, you can consider treating it with ibuprofen. That should reduce inflammation. However, if you're struggling with significant bruising, I would suggest that you contact your medical team and have a discussion about it. What do you think? Do these strategies make sense to you? Or maybe you have some other strategies that you use to help prevent bruising, or maybe even have them heal real fast. Let us know. Leave me a comment down below this video. I'm sure the other viewers would love to know as well. As promised, here's a video on how to rotate your insulin injection sites. If you like this video, please give it a like below. And if you like my content, if you'd like to see more, remember to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. That is that little bell. That way you'll be informed whenever I post new content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.